Well, welcome back to Better Living. I'm here with Dr. Bob from Sylvania Vet. We've been talking about it for a few weeks now, myth or fact regarding animals and their food and whether or not it's better to feed them natural food or whether or not they need organic food, or we talked a little bit about gluten. Lots of different myths and how to read the back of the dog food, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's really very interesting to pay attention to that, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's really nowhere good to get information. The internet is not a good source because most of it's non-scientific and it's opinion, and it's...
You mean everything we read on the internet is not true?
I know, I hate to tell you that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you have to really change. That's that State Farm ad that I think is that's been around for a long time. But one of the key things is that, you know, the classifications of food, you know, natural, organic, and holistic. First off, I'm not sure I even know what an unnatural food is, you know, and so by definition, I mean, it does have a definition. It has to be grown or mined in order to be, you know, or on the hoof or something like that to be considered natural. Sure, I'm not even, probably a Twinkie comes the closest to being an unnatural food.
I think you're probably right, yes.
But beyond that, you know, so that almost every dog food is natural, all right?
Okay.
And so that if they label that, that's just a marketing tweak, is to make it think it's something other than what it is. Then you get to organic, and now there's legal definitions of that, but it's hard to believe, but there are actually 4 classifications of organic, and the last classification, I have to look at the number, is less than 70% of the food is actually organic, you know, and so you have to be careful about that. And so if you want to buy organic and you want to buy organic from the #1 group, you've got to look for the decal on the bag, and that means that it's 95% or more organic. And organic means that grain has to be grown on fields that have been set aside for 3 years so that there's no artificial fertilizers or chemicals, pesticides, herbicides on that field, and animals have to be fed that before it can be classified as organic.
Is that important?
Well, that's a good question, and nutritionists don't think that's important. I think that's a lifestyle choice that people make. They choose to eat organic foods because it's their opinion and their feeling that it's healthier for them, and if they choose to want to do that for their dog or cat, I can't fault that. And so the people that shop at Whole Foods, you know, are willing to pay a premium for those foods, whether for themselves or their dog. The other thing is holistic, and there's no legal definition of holistic, and that's a marketing term and really should be ignored if you look at that. The other thing I wanted to mention is talk a little bit about raw food diets, because there is not one nutritionist that I know, veterinary nutritionist that I know, that thinks it's a good idea to feed raw foods. There's at least 50 diseases that can be transmitted through raw food, both to the animal and to the person and the family involved in that scenario. You can contaminate your yard. You may have heard about the outbreak of listeria in the ice cream out of Columbus. Well, listeria can be transmitted through raw foods and raw beef, and hence contaminate the yard, and now there's risk, and listeria can cause abortion in women, so there's some concern. There's certainly some concern there. They did a study and they found that, and again, I like to look at these stats so I'm accurate about that, but they did a salmonella contamination study on raw food, found that 80% of the foods that they studied had salmonella in it, and that fecal samples on those dogs fed that food, 30% of them had salmonella in them. So the dog may not get sick, but has the potential for transmitting to people.
So it's just, that's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea, and you're giving raw bones, and those, you run some risk there. The reality is that dogs have been domesticated for a long, long time, and so they're not like wild dogs. They're not like wolves. They're not, and their digestive systems have adjusted and matured just the same as ours. So we don't eat like cavemen anymore either.
One of the most important things I remember you saying the last time you were here, and even the time before that, is you need to look on those bags of dog food that you're getting, and you need to see where the food is produced.
Yeah, you need to see where and who is producing it, because if it says made for X, then you don't know who made
Right.
it. And that means you don't know anything about their quality control, the quality of those ingredients, how those ingredients are processed. The key for me is recommending to clients buy food from companies that do nutritional research, and there's really 5 of them in the whole world that do that on an annual basis, and we'd be happy to share that with you sometime.
And I was just going to say, if anybody has any questions about what they should be feeding their animal or what nutritional things their animal might need, because sometimes if they're lacking in something, that will come out maybe if their animal is losing hair or if there's a problem with their animal's teeth. Just like humans, if my hair is falling out, I'm missing a vitamin. All they have to do is call your office, get their animal in to see you, right?
Absolutely, that's correct. We're available 24/7, not with appointments, because some of it we have to sleep sometime.
Absolutely.
But our office is staffed 24/7, so we're there to answer questions. We can do it in the middle of the night if need be.
And of course, we are still in the middle of summer. If you're wanting to go to the pool, take your kids somewhere, and you want your animal to still have a little fun time too, all you have to do is drop them off at doggy daycare. Let them have a little vacation too, and all you have to do is call and set up an appointment too.
You get in, you call up, set up an appointment, you get interviewed, your dog passes the temperament test, and then they get to come, and we have indoor fenced-in secure area with swimming pools in the summer, and then an indoor area with a safety pad down the floor so that there's no slipping and sliding, because with that, a lot of dogs in there drooling and coming in from the swimming pool, a concrete floor could get kind of slippery.
I still need to come in and pass the temperament test, but we're working on that. Give Sylvania Vet a call today. They are doing fantastic work there. And make sure you are checking out what your animal is eating. We'll be right back on Better Living.